Connie Morgan. I'm here with such an amazing guest. Everyone, please give a warm welcome to Colby Kern. Oh no.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
I'm hitting all the buttons
There's
tonight.
a ton of people here.
Woo, that's the one I wanted.
Thank you. Oh, so official with those sound effects.
Welcome, Colby. How are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling really good. This is my first time on a podcast, so.
Oh my gosh, your first time.
Yes. I'm excited about it. I feel like there's a lot of pressure to say really amazing things.
Please,
but
no.
I'm sure it'll be great.
I actually want you to say all the dumbest things you can think of.
Okay.
I would love that. No.
Easy.
No, there's absolutely no pressure on keeping up with cash. We just keep it up and we keep it real. So
very cool.
Two things that you are already doing.
Okay.
So Colby and I, little backstory, we really only met literally beginning of February.
Yeah,
the
just
first
a few
Friday.
weeks ago.
Yeah, and we met through, shout out AL and Skylar, love them.
My favorite people.
They're the best. So Colby is actually a local artist here, but I want you to get into it. So Colby, tell my people what you're about and like a little bit about who you are.
In the simplest form, I like to think that I just like to make things look good. So whether that's photography, graphic design, art, as far as painting, drawing, and interior design, those are my main things, and they all relate to each other. You know, it's just making things look good and making people, I guess, something visual for people to look at that makes them feel something, whether that's a room or a painting. I don't know. I just enjoy all of it.
That's amazing.
So that's the nutshell, I guess.
So let's just back up a little bit and just say, like, what's your LinkedIn bio? Like right now, you know, what's your job title? What do what's your little bio right now?
So officially my main full-time gig is the associate designer at Obelisk Home, which is a retail store.
Okay, yes. I keep hitting these wrong buttons.
Yes. Everyone who...
So exciting.
Obelisk Home has been in Springfield for 15 years. I think they've been open now. I've been with them for almost just over 7 years. It was 7 years in November, which is hard to believe. I've had 2 jobs my entire life. Starbucks barista and then, Obelisk Home. That's like 2 official jobs where I got official paychecks,
That's awesome.
So I've been there for most of my time as a grown person working, I guess. And we deal with high-end residential design, some commercial, but mostly residential. And there's a storefront downtown here in Springfield on Phelps Street, really inspiring to go through, and the 3-floor art gallery. So it's a really amazing place to be. As far as interior design goes, in Springfield, not even Springfield, but the whole area, like General Ozarks, it's the best place.
Really?
There's no competition. I'm sorry.
Obelisk.
Obelisk.
Yes.
Obelisk.
I thought you were saying like the Ozarks.
No.
And I'm like,
we could get into that, but I have some feelings.
No, Obelisk is amazing.
Absolutely.
I went there for the first time, which is when I met Colby.
That was your first time?
That was my first time, and I was in awe. I'm like, tell me why this is better than any, not to dog on the Springfield Art Museum, but be so for real. Obelisk, like, blows it out of the water, in my opinion.
What I love about the art at Obelisk versus the art museum, which I love the art museum. I'm not saying anything negative about that.
It's great.
But it's all local artists.
Yeah.
And I feel like we have now, no offense to any other galleries or even any other artists that aren't part of Obelisk, but the best artist. I can say that. Like, I feel completely in awe of every single one of our artists. Specifically, I owe everything as far as like starting painting, because I've only been painting for like maybe 2 years now. I've only had 2 shows, but for 2 years is when I really started painting. And all because of Christy Snelson, who is an amazing local artist. She, a couple months ago, moved to Colorado, but she lived here her whole life. She's phenomenal. And she's what am I trying to say? She is the most like encouraging, supportive person I've ever. She's like a walking like physical form of a hug.
Do you know
people like
Haley
that?
McCormick, you know who you are.
Okay, Haley.
Name drop.
Haley and Christy, I'm telling you, they are just amazing people, and she really is the one who pushed me to start
So we need to tell people too. Yeah. So that's so awesome. So the way that I met Colby was that he was the featured artist for the Obelisk gallery. And you're saying, I mean, his paintings, like I will show that, you know, in the post when the episode drops. It is unreal.
You're
like,
too nice.
No, we're talking like Picasso, Mozart. Like I want to save all my money so that I can buy one of your pieces, because it's unreal that you've only started painting 2 years ago, because that art is amazing.
First of all, thank you so much. I don't know if I'm ready to take compliments like that on my art
I'm
as
kind
far
of
as painting, but I do. Can I toot my own horn? Am I allowed to do that?
Toot it. Yeah, absolutely.
I had the best feedback and best like reception to that show. Everyone, even other artists and people that I admire and I've worked with for the past 7 years, through Obelisk, just said the same thing. They can't believe I've been painting, you know, such a short amount of time. And we were talking about it earlier, but the fact that I put the show together essentially in just a few months, I mean, November through February is when I found out that, you know, I was going to be doing a show.
How many pieces were in the show again? 16
pieces.
And you guys don't understand, like, these pieces are not like, you know, piece of paper size. Like, they are massive
Yeah, most of them were
art.
60 by 48. And I love painting bigger, I found out, than smaller. It's actually easier, I feel. So I'm not trying to like say, they were so big and it was so hard. It was the most enjoyable experience ever. I had the most
awesome
fun. But you know what, I've been asked this a lot, and I got to kind of warm up with it during the show with everyone talking about it. I think what made it so much fun for me and so relatable, I guess, to other people and your reaction to it is I was so inspired by the topic, and which was, you know, the show title was Get Lost, and that was kind of a reference to where I've been in the past year, which is, you know, traveling, and I finally am able to kind of go places I've always wanted to go, and that, you know, you see on TV or something. And so this past year I went to London and Paris, and I have like 3 favorite places in the world: New York, London, and Paris, which I know that sounds
3 places I need to go to so bad.
Absolutely. So London and New York specifically.
Oh my gosh.
I love those places. I actually looked into trying to like see,
you can move there?
Could I move to London? And they actually make it kind of hard to do that. I think the British are still a little salty about the tea party. I really do.
They're like, our Love Island is better than yours.
But yes, you have to go because I loved it. But going back to the show, all those pieces were inspired by photos and things that I had taken from those travels. And it was essentially kind of taking those photos and looking back at how I felt in those moments and putting that in an abstract form onto canvas, like trying to recreate that feeling, not so much with color, but even just movement and layer and just little hints of something in the painting that really only I would pick up on, but that still read for everybody looking at them. There's a lot of little inside jokes for myself in everything, but it's not so specific that you look at something. Every piece was titled after a certain spot or a certain neighborhood in one of these cities, and the goal was to capture the energy that I had when I was there, and I guess it came across because everyone really enjoyed it. So
unreal.
I can't wait to actually put together a show where I spend more time doing it. Like, I'm still painting. I was so inspired by that I'm just going to keep it up and
absolutely.
I want to see what I can do with way more time.
Oh my gosh, yes. So that's one of my questions is when you're creating, I mean, you had a timeline, had to be done by February, 1st, and you're doing this in November. 16 different pieces. You're trying to recollect all the moments from your travels. I mean, how did that look? Like, did you pre-plan what this piece is gonna do this? Like, 16 pieces. I mean, was there any moment where you were like losing that creative flow and like, oh my gosh, I don't like this? Like, what did that look like for you? The preparation period.
It wasn't so much planned. It was more like I knew I knew I wanted to do my focus on my top favorite places, which were different neighborhoods in London, Paris, and New York. And I have a long relationship with New York. I've been there so much, and it's always been, you know, my go-to. Instead of getting out and trying to find something new, I'll just go back to New York. I'll go back to New York.
Love
and
it.
so that's my place. So when I started, you know, going other places, I'm like, wow, there's this whole world out here. Hello, get up and go. I think, to answer your question, I guess, about, you know, the planning process, that was my focus. I knew I wanted the show to have that overall theme, but I didn't want to make it so literal as far as New York. So I'm going to paint the Empire State Building or something specific like that. What I do is kind of look at a photograph that I've taken, and because I have a background in photography, so I have tons of shots from all these travels. I looked at something, I would just kind of pull mood and tone as far as color from the photograph and just mix some paints and just start throwing it on the canvas. No planning. And just kind of let that canvas kind of talk to you as far as like where it wants to go and what it wants to do. Because it's still a learning process for me as well. So I'm really just experimenting, and it happens to kind of turn out. But I think the advantage I have is my background in photography and in design, because I can compose things. I'm good at composition, and that is something that you can kind of make up for, I guess, with a lack of technical skill.
That is so awesome.
It was
Colby.
so much fun. I had the most fun.
So are you like the kind of person who needs to have music going on while you're painting, or
Totally.
silence, or are people who do it in silence, are they psycho? Like, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know how that, I have the TV on and I have my earbuds in and just listen to music so loud that I can't hear anything else.
Okay, this is a weird, totally off topic question for you. But I have ADHD, and I realize that when I'm cleaning or meal prepping and stuff, I have to have the TV on.
Oh, same way.
Because if it's not on, I'll get on my phone, but I don't want to have the TV on because I don't want to watch TV. So I'll have like art gallery things going on with the TV on, or the fireplace, just so that there's like this background.
Something, yeah.
And I didn't know if that's like when you're painting and you have the TV on, is that kind of the similar vibe?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if I would say it's an ADHD thing for me. It's more of I just like to be constantly visually stimulated at the same time being in my own little world. I don't know. It's this weird combination that I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. But people who would just sit and paint in complete silence, or anything in complete silence, that is bizarre. I have to say, that would make me raise an eyebrow.
Red flag.
Like, wait, what? I don't know
that's
about
good to
that.
know. That's good to know.
Do you ever, when you're driving in your car, do you ever turn the radio off completely and it's completely silent and you just have your own thoughts? Sometimes I've done that, and
I do that sometimes,
like, pretty welcoming.
just when I get off work, I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, like you're kind of decompressed, but you're still visually stimulated because everything around you is constantly changing. So maybe that's what makes up for it.
I don't know. I'm a bad driver.
There's
you don't want to ask.
We have to look into the science behind it.
We do. We need to create like a 8-page biography type of
we'll get right on that.
study. Yeah. So so this art gallery show, amazing art, like very creative process. What was the most challenging part of the whole thing? Was it, timeline, creativity? Like what was that for you?
Like I said, I had the best time putting it together. The night before I hung the show. So because I worked there, I had access to the gallery beforehand, and I wanted to bring everything in the dark of the night. No one had seen any of it, by the way. I hadn't given any friends.
I love it. So iconic.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
You know what? It was super private because I knew it was going to be really awesome. No, it was more like no one had seen it. I hadn't really shown pictures or any kind of progress or anything. And I was very secretive about it on social media. And
we love that.
I brought it all in the dark of the night, literally, and hung it all. I hung everything in the gallery myself, and I kind of saw it all together for the first time as it was going to be seen by everyone coming to the show, and I hated it all. I looked around and I thought, oh, I've made a mistake. This is all so bad. I don't cry often at all, ever. It is very hard to make me
Can't
cry.
relate.
Even
I'm like, before you got here, man.
She's tearing up right now.
Emotional queen. Go ahead.
I'm not emotional at all like that. But I was so frustrated, and I thought, oh, I've made a huge misstep. And I questioned everything, and I have probably the person in my life that I'm closest to. Her name's Tony. I texted her and said, oh, bad. We have an SOS situation. Like, this is really bad. The show looks like crap. I hate everything. And I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what the solution is because I can't fix any of it. It's too late.
Yeah. And
the next morning I woke up and that had subsided. I left the gallery and went home and was just bummed. You know, I was I couldn't sleep. This is awful.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, it is what it is, I guess. Like, I guess I was thinking, what is everyone going to think? Or, you know, I'm not ready for people to see this. And with me there, you know, like, you're going to stand there and watch people's reaction and people are going to want to engage about it. And if I don't feel 100% about what's on the wall and what they're talking about, how am I going to, like,
be authentic?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was not looking forward to it, but I woke up and it had subsided a little bit, but I went into the office. I got in a little late. I'm supposed to be, you know, we start at 8, get to the office around 8:30, and everyone was already there, and they had went through the gallery to get a look because they knew I'd hung it, I guess. And people were shouting. Tony had a coworker said, a feral reaction to it. I guess she was over the moon. And
same, because literally it was so good.
It's hard to believe people that you're close to, though, like that, because a best friend isn't the best person to be like a judge or a critic. Yeah. So I was still a little nervous. But in the daytime, for some reason, just maybe taking a break from it that night and just gathering my thoughts, I saw it all and I was like, you know what? Actually, this isn't too shabby. Like, I don't mind this. So I don't know, that self-doubt crept in at the very last minute. I was gonna say,
where did that come from?
I don't know. I guess because I paint in my studio, and my studio apartment, not my studio. I don't have a separate studio. And so it's a small space, and I have like you said, all these large pieces.
Yeah. Also, how did you transport the pieces?
I rented a U-Haul.
Okay, because I'm sitting here with all this stuff in this big old loft, and I'm like, you got a friend with a truck? Like,
no, I did. I had a friend help with a U-Haul, but all those pieces, I wasn't able at any point during the creation process was I able to step back far enough to see it all together. So I think that was just kind of a shock for me, seeing it all like that. And each piece, I didn't want there to be an overall look to each piece. You know, some shows you can tell that it's all kind of the same theme as far as this is how it looks. Yeah. It's even in style of the painting. But what I wanted to do was each piece totally represent something how different. I felt. And so they didn't really relate to each other directly, and that freaked me out. I thought maybe I shouldn't have done that. But it turned out well, and everyone had a really great reaction. I sold a few pieces, which is great.
Amazing.
And that's the best feeling. I mean, when someone likes something enough to put it in their home, which is this like sacred place for them.
Right here, this
right? I mean, seriously though, I mean, your home is this sanctuary for yourself, and you're putting, for me, it's like they're putting a piece of me in their house.
So that was kind of my question, is when that moment of doubt, you know, I know for me, when I first launched the podcast, that first episode, I was very scared because you're so vulnerable, and it feels like your personality is like naked to the world, and you're like, there's judgment, but you're also giving a space to invite people in and to like have a taste and like experience. And so when you release this whole gallery of something that you've, you know, worked on and is your heart and soul, I mean, of course there's like fears and doubts, but I think it's amazing that you allowed yourself to be vulnerable to let so many people experience the joy, you know? I
guess the lesson is you have to put yourself out there. Yeah. And even this turned out great, but even if it doesn't, you still have to keep putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
You know, and you learn from it. If this would have gone down in flames, it would have been a learning lesson. And my next show, if there was to be one, would, you know, be that much better because of it.
And I always say rejection is not a failure. It is room for redirection.
Oh, you know, there you go. Rejection is not a failure. It's room for redirection. I like that.
Put that on a t-shirt.
You should put that on a sticker.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Noted. Noted.
I would put that sticker on something. I'm just saying.
Okay. Like a painting. I'm just kidding.
Sure.
Make that a painting for me. I'm just kidding.
I'll paint that. Let's make
put that above my bed.
You have some empty walls here.
I do have some empty walls.
It's beautiful though.
Thank you. I do love it. So if you do hear something in the background, it's because, again, I live downtown and I cannot control, you know, the crazies and the boogans. I love it. We vibe. We get along.
I live downtown too, and you cannot
It is so entertaining. This poor man. I feel so bad. There is a guy who every morning digs outside this garbage, and it makes me almost want to like put some good things in there, you know? Like, I kind of want to, like, make his day in a weird way. I don't know. Okay. That was totally,
he would appreciate that, I guess.
Sorry, that was a little ADHD moment. Anyway, so the show was super awesome, but, you know, I've just been able to kind of talk to Colby and get a little piece of his heart, and I just love it. Like, I'm obsessed with you. So I want to kind of dig in a little bit to the context of how you grew up and a little bit of, like, why you are the way that you are, and just a few of the conversations we were having. I'm so excited. So how did you, you know, get to Springfield and get to where you are?
Yeah, well, I am going to start by saying I have no idea why I am the way I am. It just happens.
Well, none of us. I guess none of us really do.
Like, I wish I knew, don't you? I wish I knew.
Yeah.
My family is from all over, so we moved around a lot. And
are you guys like military or why?
No, I grew up pretty poor. My dad my biological father just couldn't keep a job. So he was always moving where there was a job. So my family's from Connecticut, California, you know, Illinois, Colorado, Oklahoma, and here. And I guess for the longest I've ever been somewhere is Springfield. I moved here, not even to Springfield, to Marshfield, which is just, you know, little town 20 miles away.
Yeah.
And that's where I went to high school, but I didn't grow up in a creative environment at all. No one in my family is they would tell you the same thing. They're not a creative a person, and they don't know where it came from either. I think it was just maybe because I was kind of not in a depressive way. When I say this, it's not like I was a sad little boy, but I was definitely a little boy who preferred his own company, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I just liked being with myself.
Was it kind of like an introvert vibe, or just literally you like you're very self-sufficient from a young kid?
Both.
Okay.
Right now, I kind of categorize myself as a introverted extrovert.
Yeah, because I'm an extroverted introvert.
I can sense that. I can sense it.
But I like my alone time. You know,
my alone time is like my downfall because I like it so much that I avoid friends and people and family sometimes.
So we collide well then.
We need to balance each other. We need to take from each other.
So I have to force myself to be alone, and you have to force yourself not to.
Exactly. Boom. But anytime I do, I don't regret like being out. I'm like, yes, I'm glad I did this.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, give me a sticker. You know, Boom. I went out tonight.
Thanks for being on the pod.
No, I'm not. Exactly. No. Going back to keeping myself entertained, I guess I just used my imagination a lot. Like I don't remember necessarily having like imaginary friends, but I never felt like I was alone. So I don't know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't sad. I just preferred my own company.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's where kind of things started as far as being able to kind of just pick up inspiration around you and going with it. I don't know. There's entire like pieces of my childhood that I don't remember. I don't know if it's a trauma response to something.
Dang.
I have no clue.
Have to dig into that later.
Maybe I was really sad and lonely and I just don't recall.
No, I don't know. I mean, I think like as kids, because I was super goofy. Like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would like write plays and make movies, super crazy, goofy kid stuff. And I never had imaginary friends like my sister did, but I would create like scenarios in my head.
And stuff. And
I'd
I did the same thing. Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think it's just, maybe if you're like creative, you just kind of like to go into like I could like daydream and create this whole imaginary scenarios, and I don't know, I would just like to be in it,
Yeah.
So maybe that's...
No, I relate to that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you're in Marshfield High School, and then what happens?
Marshfield High School, and that was my first time in public school as well. I'd been in private school before, which kind of sounds a lot fancier than it is. It wasn't the case at all. My mom typically had to get a part-time job at the private school to be able to afford the tuition for me and my sister. But moving to Marshfield, to kind of a smaller school where everyone had essentially kind of grew up with each other, so everyone really knew each other. I was at first I was very nervous about it, but I ended up loving high school, and I would go back to high school.
What?
I would. You get to see all your people in one day, and then...
Couldn't pay me, bruh.
No, I would go back.
College,
everyone says that.
Freshman year, I'm there. I'm there.
Homework aside, I would go back.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part of high school then? Just the people, or?
Well, I guess it was theater.
Okay, so you were in theater?
Well, my first path was going to be acting. I'd done a few shows, and I love being on stage. I know this is that weird,
it's the extroverted tick.
I guess I can come out as a character, no problem. Like, put me on stage as a character, and I'm totally fine, because I'm not me. It's not me up there. If you don't like me, then you don't like the character.
It's giving Beyonce.
Well, I've always said that. I've always said I give Beyonce.
Oh, there it is.
As if I wish so bad.
Yeah, man, I like you more than Beyonce.
Every day I wake up and I'm not Beyonce, it really, really ruins my day.
Oh my gosh.
You have to look in the mirror first thing in the morning and say, you are not Beyonce.
You know, I'm like, Beyonce wishes. No, she really doesn't. She doesn't. But I would boost my confidence up, and I'm like, girl, you're the hottest chick in the whole world. Like, let's be so for real.
Right?
Not true. But if I tell myself that, I have this confidence in the room that I am that, and it's not true. But it's pretend true.
It reads and it tells people that you're the most beautiful girl in the room.
It gives you that energy.
I believe that. Yeah. Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you fell in love with theater. Did you fall in love with all the other arts while you were in high school too?
No, I sucked in my art class. I did not apply myself, and I sucked even more in college when I had to take an art class. Wow. Everything I've done everything I've done and gotten into, I basically kind of taught myself. I've never taken a photography class either.
What?
No, I don't like being told how to do something. I have to kind of figure it out and do it myself. So it's not fun if it's a class or,
Yeah.
I wish, sometimes I'm thinking I should take a photography class. I should go back to school, take a photography class, and be freaking awesome at it, and really impress those people just to do that. Just for people to be like, wow, he's really good. And I'd be like, yeah, this is my first time. I have no idea. I would do that. I sometimes I fantasize about doing that.
That's so goofy. That's funny.
After putting the show together, I would absolutely benefit from some art classes, not because I can't paint, but because there's technical stuff as far as color theory and things like that I need to know. And it would be easier for somebody to teach me. And my artist friend who I talked about earlier, Christy Snelson, she has been a good teacher, but she left me and moved to Colorado. So
sensing some tension there.
Well, she's very happy. She's very happy. So I guess I'm happy for her.
Oh, you're so funny. Okay, so you finished high school and college. What did you?
I started out in college as an acting. That was
at MSU or where?
MSU.
Okay.
But then I quickly realized I suck. I'm not good enough to do. No, be realistic with yourself here. I'm not going to be able to make a career and support myself in the way I want to do for the rest of my life as an actor. I was realistic about that. I really wasn't good. It's good enough to make a career out of it. And so I switched to my second passion that I've always kind of been interested in, which was interior design, and kind of went from there. And that's when I had to take the one art class in college that I totally, my professor, I'm not going to say her name because a lot of people probably know her.
Yeah.
But she was not a nice person. She was very mean to me, and she actually discouraged me from ever pursuing art. Yeah. I run into her around town every once in a while, and sometimes I wonder if she knows what I'm up to these days and what she would think. I don't know. It's like the selfish part of me. I'm like, in your face, lady.
I had a conversation with someone the other day, and we were just talking about how much words hurt. And I mean, just what someone can say to us when we're 16, like, you will never be good at this sport. Like, stuff like that will stick with us. And I don't think it's necessarily like holding a grudge. I think it's just something like, even someone had said something to me like, oh, like, blah, 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 like, you lack some skills or something like that. And in my mind, it is this weird, like, burning ambition to be like, I will do everything in my power to show you all the skills that I have and have my career go, and, you know, the ways that I can support my, like, it's like this, you know what I'm saying? And so when someone says that to you, the selfish, I don't know if it's selfish or if it's just it's part of you that's like, I
plants
hope
that seed of determination.
Yes.
That
it ignites a fire.
So then it's like, thank you, right? Yeah,
because you're like, I hope you see my name in the paper, or like you click on a TV someday and I'm there and see that like what you said about me isn't true.
No, 100%.
So and I don't know if it's like a selfish thing or whatever.
Every great success story has that person in their past that was not they were telling them they can't do it.
The hater.
They'll never. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think so many times, not to bring up the whole Selena Hailey Bieber situation. I don't know.
I'm not familiar.
Okay, it's all over TikTok. We're not even going to get into it because I'm Team Selena, but we're not even going to get into it.
Really? I don't know anything, but I'm Team Hailey.
Okay, here's the thing. You don't. Right now, she's a bully, so you don't want to be.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no, really?
And a stalker.
That makes me sad.
I don't think
Justin
you want
Bieber's wife.
It's so deeper. But what I'm saying is, like, sometimes your biggest haters are these people who are constantly like being your fan, you know, and so, whether it's they want to be you or they're jealous of you. But there's this constant like obsession, and it can also turn into hate, you know? And it just, you have to ignore that stuff, and people are not always going to want the best for you. And that's a hard pill to swallow, but
it is. And the older I've gotten, the easier it is too. Like, you just don't, I'm at a point where I just really don't care for the most part what people think of me, unless it's something I specifically want
someone to think
or want to be impressed with or something.
So when that
other than that, I don't know. Other than that, I don't really think about it. So it's kind of a blessing.
I agree with you too. I don't think I super care, but then it's like when
there's a healthy
want
balance.
A certain person, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, but then I'd be caring.
No, it's exactly like that.
Yeah,
like, I don't care what people think, but then I'm crying the night before my show because people are going to not like it, or, you know, what if someone doesn't like it? Well, in normal circumstances, like if someone doesn't like something,
who cares? But when you're vulnerable and it's something so close to your heart, you really care. So when that professor told you that, first of all, did you rip them alive on the little like writemyprofessor.com?
I've never left a professor review.
Have you really?
But she has plenty of negative. I didn't need to.
I think I left some of those in high school.
They weren't even my professor. I just heard something.
Literally.
You can rate your high school teachers?
I'm pretty sure I went on a site, and I mean, unless it was a huge scam, like I'm pretty sure I rated my high school teachers. So that's that. But so when that professor told you that, you know, what was going through your head? Were you like, were you really hurt, or were you?
No. I mean, I was embarrassed because what she would do and how the class was structured is we work on something. And when you're in college specifically and you're put into these art classes, there's some amazing people in them who this is their life and they've been doing it forever and they're taking it very seriously, as they should. And you're compared to them directly, and that's not really how it should be. It should be more of a, you know, person by person basis. Yeah. But we would basically get up in front of everybody and kind of show what we've done. And the idea was to have constructive criticism about it from everyone.
The anxiety I'm already getting.
You know, everyone in class is, you know, no one's ripping each other apart. Nobody's there to do that. Yeah. But she was there, and then she would like basically kind of tear you apart in front of the entire class, in front of the entire studio.
Weird.
And it just felt, it didn't really hurt my feelings. I just felt like she was being a bully. I you know, I just thought,
Yeah.
So it didn't make me say, no, I'm never going to be an artist or anything, but it definitely didn't encourage me or make me want to, it didn't make me want to be better at the time.
Yeah.
I just was like, okay, I guess I'm not good at this.
And I think that's something that makes me sad when it comes to certain teachers or professors. I had a lot of amazing experiences, and I felt like my professors, at least some of them, really cared about me like outside of school. And I wish more professors kind of had that mentality where they realize like the big picture of this isn't so much more than a class. You're speaking to someone's life, you know?
Yeah.
And that could have gone so differently. But okay, so you had that situation. So what happened next in your story to get you to Obelisk?
Part of, like I said, I went into the interior design program, and that program, I don't have the best of things. I sound like I just like to hate on school in general. I don't.
No, it's all. Okay. Our experiences is what we experienced.
It's a pretty interesting program as far on the outside looking in. It's very integrated with construction management.
Okay.
And so Missouri State has a huge construction program, and the interior design program it overlaps with that. So you get the construction side of design, which is something a lot of universities don't offer. So Missouri State has that kind of draw to it for that program, you know. However, it's not a very large program, and a lot of people take it to, I guess.
Told you guys, downtown life, you know.
At least there's nobody like shouting.
Right. That would have been, yeah.
I'm sure you get a lot of shouting.
Yeah, we're not recording on our Friday night tonight, so I'm glad.
Back to the program, I guess. People take it to kind of like a fluff program. Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't know if I'm saying the right word, but
like it wasn't super in depth as you needed it to be, or
it's not in depth at all.
Oh, okay, okay.
I think anybody would say the same thing, that it's not in as challenging program. It's not a challenging program at all, and it's a lot of it has to do with the professors who, on a personal level, as a person, I really like both of them. There's two main professors in the department, and they're fine people. Professor wise though, as far as teaching, that is, you just don't get a lot out of the program. I'll simply put it, and we won't we won't talk about it anymore, but you don't get a lot out of the program. One of the things you have to do though is an internship before you graduate. So it's a whole class, and you have to take an internship. And at the time I was working part-time at Starbucks, and
which location?
Going to school. Well, so how long have you lived here?
People asked me this question recently, and I'm like, dang, low key, I've been in Spring Vegas for a minute.
Okay, so
I think it's like 6 years, six and a half.
So you probably wouldn't know this, or unless you've heard that whole building used to be an entire bistro. So like high end, like it was this really great experience that I wish we had downtown now. It was not at all what it has been for the past years. I mean, it was a nice, wonderful place to be. It had a sushi bar, gelato bar, everything, and there was Starbucks in there, so I worked in there.
Okay, cool.
So
big slay.
Yeah, it was awesome. I loved it. I learned a lot about people and about downtown. How about that?
Yeah,
learn the dynamic of all the craziness.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But I was working part-time there, and I had to have an internship, and I had never been in Obelisk before. I would walk past at night and kind of look in the windows. You know, it's beautiful to see from the street, and then it's all the lamps, and everything's lit at night still.
So Obelisk is a very big, like,
it's like an entire block.
Architecture, furniture, art, and I'd never even been there until the first past month, and oh my gosh, it is amazing, and it is gorgeous. Like, just hands down, everything is so intentional in there, and it shows.
Thank you so much. And it's the whole team, everybody working on that, and everyone having their own hand in it. We all really contribute in a way that I think just works, and and brings something super special. But I thought it was too special for me to go into as like this part-time college kid. So I would just
even walk in?
No, I wouldn't. I was too nervous to walk in.
You're so goofy.
I was too nervous to walk in because I thought, oh, these people, I'm wasting their time, because it looked really nice from the street. I mean, it's nice, of course, but like from a college kid's point of view at the time,
right.
I'm like, this is the kind of stuff I want.
It's
and
like
can't
that
have.
SpongeBob meme. I have $5. Like,
seriously, just kind of like, you know, I don't know. Do you remember Charlie in the Chocolate Factory? And Charlie's like staring through the window of the candy or the candy store, and he's like, I just want a chocolate bar. So, but that was me looking at lamps. I was like, I just want that lamp so bad. That's so beautiful. Yeah. So I never went in, but I thought, you know, if I'm going to look for an internship, Obelisk just makes sense because, you know, they have a great reputation in the area for doing the best work. And at the time in my major, there was a girl named Shelby who was a good friend of mine. She worked at Obelisk. She actually worked there, which made me think she was like really cool. I thought, she works at Obelisk. I'm going to be friends with her. Actually, I think that's how the friendship started. I was like, I'm going to be friends with her.
It's giving Haley Bieber.
No.
I'm just kidding. Am I? Okay.
She kind of got me the interview for the internship, and not kind of, she actually did. And we were in class, and she says, are you excited for your interview today? And I was like, what are you talking about? And I did not know. So Nicole, who works with me now at the office, and she's also like, so you have like favorite people in the world. Yeah. Nicole's one of them.
We gotta get some shout outs though. Shout out to Nathan and JT because they're amazing. Absolutely amazing.
So yes, Nathan Taylor is the owner and amazing designer of basically everything that you see. But and JT's his boyfriend. But super cool, awesome people. At the time, JT wasn't part of the picture at the time. So I didn't know him then. But I thought they're pretty intimidating people. I mean, Nathan is, you know, very well respected in the area for his, you know, his talent and everything that he has to offer. And he also just dresses. Did you meet? Oh, you know,
exceptional dressers.
He dresses amazing, right? He dresses no matter what, and that's every day. Every day for the past 7 years I've seen him. He looks like a movie star. I'm telling you, he just looks so impressive, and I knew that about him. So I was nervous to go in, but he's not an intimidating person. He would hate to hear that people are intimidated by him. I mean, maybe he would secretly like that, but he doesn't want to be intimidating. Not at all. But I didn't know I had an interview that day. And Shelby only knew because she saw on, I guess, the calendar at the work.
So she didn't tell you were not pulling up.
Well, Nicole had not emailed me the confirmation about, you know, these are some interview dates. I think they just put it on the calendar, you know, maybe as like a placeholder. I'm not sure. Yeah. But I didn't know about it. And so I said, when is the interview? And she says it's at 11. Well, class doesn't get out till noon, like 12:15 or something like that. Yeah. It was a studio class. And I was like, oh, okay. So I, you know, asked the professor, I said, you know, can I go to the interview? And she was like, of course. I had nothing prepared. And, you know, I show up to class, and it was an early class. It was one of those 4-hour blocks, you know. Yes. I wasn't even dressed. I wasn't, you know.
Teeth weren't brushed. I'm just kidding.
No, you know, teeth weren't brushed. I don't think I even had underwear on. Like,
bro, that is the truest 8 a.m. And if you're gonna pretend like it's not true, don't even.
It was the, you know, the sweatpants that you wore to bed, but then you're like, I don't need to take these off. I just put them on 6 hours ago, and all I've done is lay in bed. You know. Like,
that's college, baby.
That's where you get to exactly. I cannot go looking like this. Are you kidding me? Yeah. So this is kind of an interesting story, or a funny story. I left class really fast, and I've always lived downtown. So at the time I had a small little cheapy apartment. I went home, put on what I perceived to be a really amazing outfit, and I you know, took a shower real fast and. Like is it blow dry your hair?
Yeah.
Do you blue dry your hair?
No, you blow dry it.
So I blow dried my hair.
Let's do Dyson Airwrap that bad boy.
Seriously. I used to have much longer hair. Okay. And I got it, and I would do stupid. It would look like a vanilla ice cream cone. All right. I would like swirl it on top, you know. So I thought I looked really good. I looked ridiculous, I'll tell you. But I thought I looked really good, and I had this scarf, and it was at the time the most expensive thing I owned, clothing-wise, and it was this big scarf, and it was beautiful, but it's a statement, right?
Yeah.
A huge scarf.
Okay.
So I put that on. I thought, oh, they'll like this big scarf. To get in my car to go to the interview, and my car dies right in the intersection. Just no, seriously, it ran out of gas. And here's the thing, this is gonna sound really dumb, and I'm not a dumb person, but I didn't really pump my own gas ever. I know I was living on my own. And had been for a couple years, but
who was pumping your gas?
My stepdad, Mark, would come pick my car up, fill it up, and he did that all through high school too.
Oh my gosh.
Like, so I never pumped my gas even in high school. So it wasn't
even in college. He's picking your car up.
Seriously, yeah.
Wow.
And so I don't ever pay attention to the thingy, whatever the gauge or whatever the gas gauge. So I never pay attention to it, and it was out. He had not been doing a very good job. Okay, it died.
Come on, Mark.
So exactly. So these two really nice guys helped me push the car seriously into like a parallel parking spot where I just left it, and then like ran the few blocks to Obelisk. And so I show up a little on time. I was on time.
Wow.
But I show up a little frazzled, I feel, like internally. I don't think it read externally.
It's like sweating.
But during the interview, it's fine to say now, but during the interview, I thought they really hated me. And Nicole was in the interview, I mentioned her earlier, and she was like winking at me the whole time, which I thought was her like saying, oh, I'm so sorry. Like I read it as this is going kind of bad. And then one of Jay Martin, who's another owner of everything, Obelisk Home and everything, he asked me to leave the room. He's like, can you please leave the room and just wait outside?
Are you a massive overthinker? Are you a pretty big overthinker?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, because me too. And I would have been like, oh my gosh, they hate me. Like.
Yeah. No. I thought, oh, that's is that good or bad? I don't know, because I'd already been kind of feeling that the interview wasn't going very well.
Yeah.
And that could have been just in my own head because these people were so impressive to me. Anyway, I step out. They have a little meeting. It's this beautiful conference room, big conference table, very intimidating, high back chairs, everything with like the logo embroidered on the back of the chairs, you know? And so it was intimidating. So the fact that I'm asked to leave, and it was actually Jay Martin, they were in there having a conversation saying, we need to hire him. We don't need him as an intern. We need to hire him.
Wow.
And I got the job because of that. But Jay Martin said, he kind of looked at me and he said, if we hire you, can you tone all of this? And he kind of gestured his hand like at my crazy, ridiculous hair and the giant scarf. Can you tone that down a little bit? And I was like, in my head, I was like, that is very rude. I look amazing. But yes, because I really want the job. So.
That's amazing.
So that's how I got to Obelisk, and I've been there ever since.
See.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're like Mr. Tough Guy.
Ambience.
That's awesome. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
I really like it there. We do amazing work. I'm always impressed by what can happen. Springfield has a huge demographic for high-end residential, something I never expected.
Never would have guessed. Just absolutely wild.
Yeah.
So is that, dream career, dream role, what does that look like for you?
I would like to have my own firm someday.
Architecture firm?
Design firm. So they go hand in hand. They really do. You work a lot with architects. I don't like that part of it. I don't like the numbers and dimensions and will this work kind of thing as far as the structure goes. That doesn't excite me. It's very important though. So it's not the exciting part. So I never, and plus, I don't have any kind of credentials to be an architect, and I'm not interested in doing that. But
then don't do
I would love to have. I would love to have my own design firm someday. And basically, the goal would be to take on just a few clients a year, just a handful, and really be able to go all out me with them, which sounds kind of bad. It's because you're designing for someone else, so it needs to be for them. But I want to be to a point where people come to me specifically to have my look.
Wow, that's awesome.
And so that's the eventual goal.
We're
slowly working towards it. It's a progress.
Yeah, that's amazing. So to transition just a little bit, I think art speaks so much volume, and there's emotions and there's storytelling, and that's obviously with the art gallery, something you're passionate about. Even with theater, there's just so much heart that goes into all that creativity. So has there been anything in your life that you've kind of struggled with or has been challenging for you that you pour into a lot of your art or anything like that?
That's a good question. Not accepting yourself. And if you can't accept yourself, there's no way that you're going to be able to expect other people to do that as well. So as soon as I started doing that, just kind of being honest with myself and, living how I wanted to, I guess, and not how I felt I was expected to, that is when I kind of came alive as far as creatively, I do feel. So I maybe there's a lot of inspiration or a little bit of drawing from those experiences, but nothing super bleak or anything. I don't think that there's anything,
well, that's good,
dark in my past that is like I wasn't ever bullied, or I was never felt, except for by my art teacher in college. I mean, that was my biggest bully. She's my arch enemy. If I see her on the street, I'm like,
catch these hands.
Seriously, don't run into her.
Yeah.
I know. No, I guess not, to answer your question, no.
That's good. That's awesome.
Nothing like that.
Like mental health wise, I mean, is there any kind of challenge, mentally while you're doing art, or comparison to other artists, or, I don't know what that looks like in that industry.
Sure. I'm still new to it, and it's something that when you're new at anything, you're kind of experimenting with what your style is and what you want to do. And a lot of that is shaped by your inspirations and people that you admire, whether it's an artist that you know personally or just, something random online. I don't know, someone on Instagram. The fine line of pulling inspiration and like plagiarizing something is kind of blurred in art, I guess. So my biggest struggle is taking a style that I just love, like personally I love, and I can create it without...
Oh my gosh. Is it a car show outside? Come on. What's going on?
They're cruising. They're doing laps.
Guys, we get it. You're on the podcast. We get it.
Don't leave them out. It's just rude.
Yeah.
I guess it's, that's the biggest struggle. I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss of words because it's all still such a learning process for me that I'm sure that once I figure more things out, I'll be like, wow, this is actually really difficult to, accomplish or something. But right now it just kind of just happens. Yeah. Pretty
kind of
naturally.
Just a fun process, and it's not so too mentally draining or anything.
No. Yeah. It's just fun.
That's awesome. And that's how it should be. Yes. Even like with the podcast, like there's moments where it is challenging, I mean, it's hard work, but ultimately like doing this with you is so fun,
Do you feel that because you are having fun doing your podcast, that people think that sometimes it's not hard work because it was fun for you?
I definitely do think that some people think that.
I kind of get that for me too. Like I kind of like,
it's a fun
don't
hobby,
discredit how hard it is because I had fun doing it. Or don't even discredit how hard it is for yourself, because sometimes you have to take a step back and be like, you need space from this, even though you enjoy it so much.
For me, after the podcast party, which we had like February 11th, for 2 weeks, I feel like I just slept. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what, I'm not posting a lot. I'm not doing a lot because my body needs rest, and I don't want to resent any aspect of the podcast if I burn out, And I think that's something that just comes from self-awareness and comes from knowing yourself, and actions speak louder than words. So if people thought, oh, maybe you're just into the art for a hobby, then they go to your gallery and they see all the amazing things that you did from November till then. Like they know this took incredible amount of hard work. And with my podcast, like the 1 year, I think the 1 year, like most podcasts don't even make past 5 episodes. Mm-hmm. So it was definitely a big accomplishment, and like kind of getting to celebrate that and show everyone what happened this year definitely reflects the hard work.
Hit your applause button for that. Hit the applause button. Thank you, everybody. Look, isn't she amazing? Hit the applause button. Oh my God.
You're so precious.
That's so exciting. It seems like obviously I don't know much about podcasts as producing or being a personality on one, but it seems like a whole lot of work to me. So good for you.
Well, I couldn't do one painting that you've done.
We all have our strengths.
We all have our strengths. And we all find out what we like. Yeah. So Colby and I were talking about dating earlier. So love life, single, relationship, where are you at?
Happily single.
Same.
Very happy. Oh, let's see if I remember. Oh, I did it, you guys.
You did it.
So this is being recorded video, right? This, visually. So there's proof that I just
he just dabbed me up and he slayed it.
Like probably the smoothest, but we're getting there.
So what is your idea of demographic of Springfield for dating? Because
oh god,
I know, but here's the thing. I was thinking about this to myself, and I'm always like, ugh, because if I go anywhere else, I feel like men are very like approaching me and whatever.
Well, I'm sure they are.
Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh.
You're not only are you physically beautiful, but you're effervescent. You know, you know this.
No, you're so
you
sweet.
Do. Anyways.
Well, thank you. Anyways, and Springfield, I mean, now like I'm 23 and like I'm very like sure of myself, and I do have like men approach me sometimes, but for a long time I was like, I will never date here because I don't really like the demographic of men. But let's be so for real, all my heartbreaks were men from here. But I've really tried to give Springfield a chance and open myself up, and I feel like I have, and I'm still open, but I am interested in like what you think of the demographic of the dating pool of Springfield,
I would think that it's not great.
Right.
Okay, so I hate to say that, but I would say it's really not great. But I agree 100% with what you said about keeping yourself open.
Yeah. There's like some gems in the rough.
There has to be. There has to be. You're here. I mean, I like to think, I was going to say, I like to think I'm not horrible.
No.
Like, so would I date me? Probably not.
Get out of here.
No, I mean, like, I'm not looking for somebody like me. As far as, an artist or a creative type, I've dated a creative type before, and the dynamic is not, I guess, what nurtures me.
So you're kind of looking for like kind of opposites attract type of thing.
Maybe.
I think I'm kind of like that too, though. Yeah,
Maybe that's what's best. I don't know. What I am looking for, I guess, is somebody that I can mutually grow with.
Yeah.
And however that overlaps with interests or not.
Yeah.
Whoever that is, I don't know.
Right.
But I don't know how promising that is to find here in Springfield.
And
I'm not ruling it out, but I don't know.
You never know. I mean, keep yourself open because we really don't know.
I am open. I haven't been on a date in 3 years, almost 3 years, and also, but haven't like really turned anybody down. No one's asked, and I haven't asked.
Oh my gosh, I'll take you on a freaking date.
Thank you. No one's asked, and I haven't really asked anybody either. So it goes both ways.
Yeah.
I don't know. Happily single. I feel amazing about it. Like I've been traveling, like all these trips I've gone on. I know this sounds really sad. It's not. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
I went on by myself.
No, if I wasn't like this little girl who is so scared of most men, I would be doing that.
I'm sure it's a completely different dynamic.
But
you're not the first. You're not the first person to say that.
To do solo trips, I literally would, because I just don't think there's something about like not having to rely on anyone, whether it comes to time or the experience you want to have, or you can go to a place and just
be however you want to be.
And I think that's priceless.
There's such a power to it, and I love every moment of it. But you're not the first person. You're not the first female to say that about when I talk about the traveling. Most of my friends are female, and they say the same thing. In fact, this year I'm going to Rome and Florence, and by myself. And I have a friend who has been to Rome, and she was there with another girlfriend. This is years ago when they were younger, and she said she did not feel safe and couldn't imagine going. And she was not discouraging me from going in any way, but in her eyes, Rome was just kind of like not a great place to be because she felt so unsafe. Yeah. And so I'm definitely not encouraging people to step so far out of their comfort zone that they put themselves at risk or in any kind of danger. But definitely be smart about it and see if you can, experience that, because it's the best thing in the world.
And also do your research, because there's different areas in Europe where I even follow girls on TikTok and they're like, hey, this place in Spain, you can stay out by yourself 11:30, totally fine, feel safe. Barcelona, I was scared by, there's lots of groups of men, all these things. And so it's just kind of do your research and understand the area.
I wish I could say, I've never felt unsafe or threatened in New York, London, or Paris.
You're going to say North Glenstone?
I would not. I'm not walking down.
That's what I'm saying is Springfield, I can literally walk downtown and I am not scared. No. North side, North Glenstone. You can't catch me walking down the street at 3 o'clock.
You know what? I have seen more threatening situations here than I have in any other metropolis I've ever. Yes, and I don't know if it's just because you're more you feel like maybe you're more of a target or more isolated here. I'm not sure, but I can't say I've never felt threatened or unsafe in any of these cities. But I'm also, a 6'1" male who doesn't necessarily have to feel unsafe.
Yeah.
Presenting wise, I'm not an easy target, I guess. And I'm obviously not female, so I'm not preyed upon in that aspect typically. Yeah. And so I would say, heck yeah, everybody go to London by yourself.
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Get out there and go by yourself, but I don't know.
And like I said, do your research. There are people who do it, You can also meet friends traveling. It's just there's certain areas where it is...
the connections of meeting.
Yeah.
It sounds scary. It sounds like we're setting people... I'm trying to encourage people to literally drop everything, go off to a foreign country by yourself and meet strangers.
But there is something
it
about...
is amazing.
There's something that changes in you when you go to a different country and experience different culture. So my sophomore year, I went to Cyprus.
See, you're much more traveled than I am. You are more exotic anyway. There's no difference. There is no difference in culture as far as fundamentals go between Britain and the United States.
I don't know.
I feel like they're fancier with their accent.
Probably.
But so you're in Cyprus.
So we were in Cyprus. We had a layover in Brussels. It was Austria. Just all these different things. And when you go there and you experience the fashion and the lifestyle of the lifestyle is rich. There's no need to make, millions of dollars. You just, you have a luxurious, long lunch. And then you come home and you're in this culture shock of no one knows what I just experienced. No one knows the beauty that I just experienced. And I feel like my spectrum of life is so much wider because there's so many other people in the world that their life is so different. And I just think it's so important as a person that to get out of your typical circle and experience something new, whether it's a different state or a different country, because there is a lot of culture in America. You just have to kind of get out of your area and find it.
I never realized how many people don't ever there are people who've never left their own state. That's crazy.
Right. Some people haven't left Marshall.
You know what? I say that's true. I say I just said that's crazy. But if you're happy, if you're truly happy, I guess
you gotta
good
do
for
you. Right.
But also maybe being ignorant about the rest of the world isn't an excuse to stay happy. I don't know. Does that make sense?
I think it's a twofold. Some people obviously can't travel and they can't afford stuff like that. But I think it's just important to just get out of your bubble and meet different people in different demographics. Whether that's serving others. You can, and I don't know. It just looks different for different people. I don't know how we got on that tangent.
I don't know. I liked it.
It was fun.
I want to go to Cyprus though.
It is so amazing. Greece. I always tell myself that someday if I retire and I have lots of dollars in the bank account, I'm gonna just move there and live there. When
I was booking Rome, I looked into flights it is $64 US to fly from Rome to Athens. And I thought I should go to Greece too. But I need to make the most out of a time somewhere. And then, Greece is its own trip.
I don't ever want to be rushed. Such a moment that I almost feel like you're going to need a whole trip.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So don't tease myself like that. I'll wait.
Don't get a taste. You need the meal.
My two favorite places I want to go that I haven't been, Greece and Egypt.
Ooh, yep.
Egypt.
I want to go to both of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but that's so amazing.
Yeah.
So to transition just a little bit,
Sure.
Do you have any artist that is like an inspiration for you, that someone you really look up to and admire?
Locally?
Oh yeah, let's like locally and like bigger as well.
Yeah, Christy Snelson, painter, and then Stephanie Kramer, 2 amazing artists, 2 very different artists, but also just beautifully talented and humble about it. Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing.
Willing to share their experiences. So I love them. As far as like favorite artist of all time, Basquiat.
Okay.
There's a lot of his influence in my work as far as I like street art. I like a little bit of
I like street art too.
Yeah.
Graffiti stuff.
And,
I love all of that.
It doesn't get more iconic street art than Basquiat. So
yeah.
Absolute hands down Basquiat.
Amazing. Do you have any advice for, any young artists or, people who are just really creative and maybe are kind of lost on the direction they want to go?
Oh gosh, I hate giving advice because that makes me sound like I know what I'm talking about. Just do it. I mean, if there are people saying you aren't very good at something, but it's something you enjoy doing, work at it, get better at it, and don't. It sounds so corny.
No, it's not. It's
give
not.
up.
Yeah. I mean, literally, even like with this podcast, I mean, we just had like 4 massive cars or motorcycles go away. Am I going to edit every single little minute out? Probably not. But you know what? We're doing it. We're doing the episode.
It sounds very urban. I would keep it.
Keep it. And it's authentic,
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah.
That's good.
Just keep doing what you love and don't give up.
And don't let some hater or person, keep you from the amazingness that you are.
And whether that hate is, external or internal, if you don't let your self-doubt stop you.
Yeah. That's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good. Well, Colby, you are absolutely a gem. And I really want to encourage everyone to check out, your social media to see all of your different artwork,
I would
everything
love
going
everyone to follow me on Instagram, but also Obelisk Home and OH Gallery. You can see not just my artwork, but the amazing work that everyone in this town is doing. There's so much talent. It's surprising.
It's amazing. Surprising. It's amazing. So I like to end my show every single way. Favorite quote, favorite song, and what do you want your legacy to be?
So, what was the first question though? What should I start with? Favorite quote. Favorite quote is probably, it goes along with what we were just saying. I think it was Amanda Rodemacher who said, I'm not the same person having seen the sun or the moon shine on the other side of the earth. Wow. So it's exactly to what you said about experiencing other cultures and stuff and how much you grow from it. Yeah. I just love that. That's always kind of stuck with me.
I love that too. Favorite song?
Favorite song?
It doesn't have to be that deep.
No, it doesn't. But I do have a favorite song. Like a Prayer by Madonna. 100%.
Okay.
All the time.
Okay.
Favorite song. Favorite song of all time.
Well, I love how energetic you just get.
I would have to say that it's the best song of all time. Not just my personal favorite, but everybody's.
One hot take.
It's true. It's true.
We're not even going to get into it, but yes, I validate that.
I will put it up I'll fly it on one of those banners behind an airplane.
All right.
That's how committed I am to that.
I love
that is the best song.
I love that. Okay, and what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want people to remember you as, and the things that you've done in your life?
Oh, I hope that people remember me or even experience me as somebody who just made them feel comfortable to be themselves. And, hopefully I make people smile and laugh. That's my favorite thing to do, really, is just, encourage people to be themselves.
Oh my gosh, I love so precious.
Oh no, that sounds like I'm this really nice, awesome person. No, I'm not. I mean, I'm not that at all. But what I am though is somebody who's I'm not going to judge you. How about that?
Yeah.
I'm not going to judge you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. If you were a dog, I'm getting this
What is this? I'm curious.
Combination.
I'm not a dog. I'm not a
You're
dog
a cat person.
No, I'm not an animal person. Is that bad? But I'm curious
because I could see you being a dog person in 20 years. Because I'm a dog person, but not right now because I can't.
Yeah.
But once you're retired and stuff. Okay, so this is just the vibe I get. I get this combination. Like, can I do like 3 different breeds? Is that a thing?
Yeah, if I know what they are.
Okay, so I get a little bit of like Australian Shepherd from you. Just kind of like energetic, creative. I get Corgi, like very
not the Corgi.
Wait. I get like positive vibes, like happy, and then I get Poodle. Just as the third, because like this like kind of like bougie, luxurious, but like high-end taste, you know, but we'll say like all 3 combined, you know, I kind of see
okay, no, I can kind of picture it. I'll take that, but
like as a chill dog, not something super hyper like all those as a chill.
Yeah, I don't know much about any of those breeds beyond what they look like, so I don't know how they behave, but I'll take that.
Okay,
I'll take that, and
I'm giving like big golden retriever / bulldog energy. What do I give? I don't know.
See, I don't know dogs well enough to assign. I do assign people animals though in my head.
Oh no, you're gonna come with a monkey?
No, I don't know if I can. No, not a monkey. I don't think it's not something I can come up with on the spot.
Okay.
I'm not diverting. I'm just thinking it deserves more thought.
Okay. Well, I guess just let me know whenever you think of the animal I'm supposed to be. I love that. Well, Colby, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
You're such a gem.
Thank you for having me.
Everyone, check him out. Look at his artwork. I'm amazed. And for my listeners, I love you guys. A bunch of stuff has been going on in my life recently, and that's why we have one more interview, and then we'll have the solo pod episode, and it's going to be like Thanksgiving dinner. It's going to have a lot bringing to the table, and I'm excited. I have some merch ideas. Me and some friends have just been joking around with some names, and I'm kind of excited. So yeah.
And you have that sticker idea. Don't forget.
We have the sticker. Writing that one down. The sticker idea. Yes, I actually really like that idea. But yeah, so 2023 is already. It's freaking about to be. It's March. It's March. That's insane. Insane. So I hope that, you know, as summer comes, you know, you're consistently going after your goals and you're taking the steps you need and you're also prioritizing your mental health. Well, I love you guys so much. This has been such a blast. And just remember to always keep up with cash. So love ya. Bye.